Parisa is professor in the Department of Art and Department of Advertising, Public Relation and Media Design, University of Colorado, Boulder, with over 20 years in the field. Parisa has worked with ad agency, publishers, art centers, municipalities, and festivals around the world, and has done visual branding for exhibitions, events, foundation, and over 2,000 companies. Although she have used her expertise in variety of industries, her passion is work within art and culture as well as socially and environmentally focused projects. Please welcome Parisa. Thank you.
Thank you, Satarajan, for the introduction. Can we start now?
Sure.
Okay. Let me share my screen, and in that way I have all my text and pictures, and we can go better. Okay. Can you see my page, my presentation?
Yes, Parisa.
Okay, cool. First of all, thank you, Satarajan, Dylan, and other friends that joined to my workshop today. And I prepared a very small presentation for today, just for, having the idea that what is the agenda and what is exactly Nowruz and Persian culture. As you see, we can speak most of the people that they are living out of Iran. Persian people, they can speak in English and Persian. Our first language is Persian, and we write from right to left. And here is a small agenda. I hope we can cover it. And it's just, we have 2 quick breaks, but feel free to just stay with camera off sometimes, and you can grab your coffee or water. And I will be with you all the workshop, and just let me know if you have any question during any step of your project. Here is a kind of short mind map of my life, that what's happened during my life. I worked as a junior designer for some small company in the beginning when I was a student. And after I graduated, actually in the last semester, one of my master asked me to work with his company. I started with junior designer there. And after that, after some years, I started to work like senior designer. And as you see, branches just added little by little. When you work with more people around you, you can learn, but also your duty is going to be heavier, And after some years working with the first company, I started to work with the second company as an art director and senior designer. And again, I worked with many people like copywriter, account manager, video director. And finally, I opened my studio and worked for myself as a curator. And it was the time that I could pick my clients and work with some freelance designers and artists. Okay, from 2000 to 2010, I worked as an art director for companies, and I worked with some national brands, some of the brands that just designed by me, and some of them designed in a company that I worked with them. And I also had this opportunity to work with international brands when I worked in Graphic and Darwag International company. And it was a nice time to learn about collaborating with international clients. I worked for some different various industry, and I designed lots of packaging design, campaign design, and so on. And in 2010, I opened my studio, and I started to create a personal brand that actually I created during my job. But in 2003, one of my poster design won a prize in Ukraine, and it was a kind of, golden point in my life that I understood that I can do something more than just doing advertising and, print design and something like that. And I connected to international community of design through this poster design. And my life actually has changed a lot during these years when I connected to those international designers. I learned a lot from each designer that I met, and I learned a lot from our collaboration with different people, and especially people from different cultures. And I also selected my clients. I work with municipality, with embassy, with some cultural event like Tehran Contemporary Museum, and works like for billboards, poster design. And here are some projects that I did exactly in my studio. Most of them are very crafty, and I worked with my hand and just created something with some physical material. And also I did a lot of embroidery for some of my jobs, and I brought some of the sketches here because you can see the process of my projects also. And some of them published in international magazines or books or journals. I also had the privilege to work with more than 6 publications when I was in Tehran, and it was a very cool opportunity for me to expand my connections, because I'm a very communicative person, a sociable person, and in that time, I designed more than 130 book cover design for different publications. These are some examples of my book design and my book cover design that I created. As you see, most of them are just done by craft and physical material that I created myself for the content. From 2008 till now, I was engaged with teaching also, and I traveled to different countries for holding some exhibition or workshop, and it was very cool experience that I worked with very multinational and international students, like Taiwanese students from Peru, Mexico, Ukraine, and USA as well. And in 2017, I moved to Colorado, and I started to make a community for myself again. I tried to find myself and started from nothing again here. It was a very hard time for me to find myself as an artist and visual designer, because the culture was very different. I also found that there is a lot of graphic design projects like the one that I had in Iran, because everything is going more digital here. But finally, I survived, and I worked with some local local brands, and some of them are pretty new startup, and some of them they were established many years ago. I worked with Boulder Art Association, and I redesigned for them the corporate identity that they had many years ago. I designed for them different campaign for their events, and I was so lucky to work with City of Boulder and also the Office of Art and Culture in Boulder, and designing some different kind of public art or art project for them. And the one that I did about 2 years ago, it was a project for public art, and it was a embroidery on a huge fence to saying hello in different language, and it changed every 3 weeks to another language, and many people connected to this project. It was a community project, and kids, elderly people, and people, because this fence was exactly in front of the main library of Boulder, and the library of Boulder is super busy place and very active, and yeah, and people just send their pictures through Instagram and just or tagged me, you know. It was a very interesting project. And now let's see what is Nowruz Workshop. Okay, actually then it's better to dissect Nowruz word. And the word Nowruz means new day. Its a spelling and pronunciation may vary by different country. Nowruz marks the first day of spring and is celebrated on the day of the astronomical vernal equinox, which usually occurs on 21st March. It is celebrated as the beginning of the new year by more than 300 million people all around the world, and has been celebrated for over than 3,000 years in the Middle East, Balkans, Black Sea and Black Sea Basin, and the Central Asia and other regions. It is also good to know that United Nations recognize 21st March as the International Day of Nowruz. And the word Nowruz or Newruz or some other pronunciation is just a combination of two words, as I told you. And, yeah, I think this is, oh no, this is a repeated slide. And Nowruz also means light, and being tied to the equinox, it represents the return of the light. And Nowruz seems to go back the ancient Zoroastrian faith, which many scholars believe to be the first monotheistic religion. And Zoroastrianism is one of the world's oldest, religion practice based on the teaching of the Iranian speaking prophet Zoroaster. And these are all connected to Nowruz. Because of that, we have to just learn a little about the cultural aspect of Persian culture and the ancient culture also. And we should know a little about Ahura Mazda, which is the creator deity and the highest deity of Zoroastrianism. And the literal meaning of the word Ahura is Lord, and that of Mazda is wisdom. And this is one of the most beautiful pictures of the Naqsh Rostam in Fars, near to Persepolis. And it's very, very ancient sign. And Zoroastrianism religion followed the threefold path: good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. And this is very, amazing how in that time the people believed such a good things. And some amazing traits of these religions are, charity always has been a way of maintaining one's soul aligned to Asha, to spread happiness. And another one, the spiritual equality and duty of men and women alike. And also being good for the sake of goodness without the hope of reward. And all of these they were the base of the Zoroastrianism. And here are a very beautiful half scene that I found. As you see, it's kind of, half scene itself is a brainstorming page because it's full of the interesting words, beautiful, thought. And it's a sign of spring also. And some people, they put more than 7 scene, and actually sin is one of the letter in Persian alphabet. And most of the things that you will see here, actually the translation are with different letters, but all of them in Persian language started with sin or si in the word. And I brought some of them that they are always more interesting for me. For example, the colorful eggs that we put in half scene, they are sign of fertility. And it's a very interesting culture that I remember from my childhood, that when I went and traveled to our relatives or to other cities as a traveler, we got some colorful eggs as a gift. In that time, nobody gave money or something like that, and they prefer to pass these beautiful eggs to kids especially. And also we have sabze, or these kind of sprouts that are the sign of rebirth of earth and life. And we celebrate in different cultures and in different cities of Iran and other countries. Most of us celebrate with rebirth of the earth with those sprouts. And also we have the hyacinth, if I don't mistake the pronunciation. This is a kind of beautiful flower that it's a sign of spring, and in Persian language we say sombol. And they are very colorful, but these are the most common colors that we have in Hafsin. Also Hafsin and Nowruz, as I told you, it's started in 21st of March, and it's a sign of spring in all the world. I also gathered some beautiful stamps that annually we had this kind of beautiful stamps in occasion of Nowruz actually, and most of them just designed by Hafsin elements or other signs like flowers and so on. We also have some pictures. They are very cliche in our culture, or for some people that they pass the greeting card to each other. I never liked them. From my childhood, I prefer to see more original and pure art in greeting cards of Nowruz. Also, Nowruz is sign of happiness for all people. I rarely remember some people that maybe they lost somebody in their family or something like that, that they are sad because they can't spend their time in Nowruz in those family members. But generally, Nowruz is, all people are happy during the Nowruz. And also Nowruz is very colorful. Actually, when I made this presentation, I found that, oh my God, Nowruz is very colorful. I can see a month of color like violet or purple like this in any other day during the year in Iran. Just Nowruz is so colorful for any generation. And here is the design process. The design process in general, that it starts always with define a problem. Actually, the task here is just designing a greeting card. It's not really a problem. Collect information that we talk together, brainstorm and analyze the idea, and develop the solution, getting feedback and improve your design. This is the general design wheel that we always just go through the process for any kind of design. But for this workshop, as it is more like sprint design, I just dissected and just analyzed and brought less process like brainstorming, sketching, and getting feedback from each other. And after that, we can go for execution, which takes longer. And here are some sketches, for example, that I did for KGNU for their campaign. They are pretty, fast, and I use different colors because I didn't have much time for this project, and it was just 2 days that I had for sketching and executing this project. And you can do it yourself for this project if you want to go with sketching process first, and you can use color pencil or color marker and something like that to create your sketches. And sometimes I use, as you see, they selected the second one from the left, and I exactly did the same thing with executing the project. And I finalized the project just with marker because I liked the essence of that. This was just an example how we can go faster sometimes with the process of design. And also there are some good ways of execution, fast execution. For example, we can go with some geometric illustration or organic illustration in Illustrator program or some other programs that you are willing to work with. Or we can use some random collage with paper, with fabric, or we can execute our idea with photo montage. Or if we are a good illustrator, we can start exactly with some illustration, beautiful illustration, and just put them together in Photoshop program or some other programs. And also we can start with watercolor, that sometimes I used them for some book cover design in my previous projects. And we also have a format for this workshop because it is a workshop about Nowruz. I gathered some more common pattern in our culture, and the patterns themselves, they are beautiful too. And I just, simplify them, and we can use them as a stencil, and you can just put your design in the positive space that you can see as a white space. And I assume that most of the people, they will be with English language in this workshop. And because of that, I just designed the text. It's pretty simple, just greeting the Nowruz, and you can use 4 different layouts out of the stencil and lay out your project based on your design. And also here are some source if you want to get more idea about Nowruz.
Perfect, thanks. Okay, I'm going to cut the live stream now. Thanks for everyone who's joining in and watching it. If you want to be a part of this workshop, hit us up on Facebook and we can get you in. So thank you so much.